Okay, so a friend of mine convinced me to be a part of this book, human book story. And so I had to come up with the title, and the title was Victor of Circumstance. And the reason I came up with that title is because I feel that all of us are born into situations, and maybe not necessarily the best situations. And from that, we learn how to grow and evolve into who it is we are supposed to become. But sometimes we get stuck in our stories, and those stories are created by the circumstances in which we live. And maybe not all those circumstances are the best, but we have to learn how to evolve out of them. I grew up the daughter of an alcoholic, and she was my mom. And she had a big heart and she loved, but she was also very depressed. And so she used alcohol to mask that. But she could also be very angry. And so through that journey of physical abuse, a little emotional abuse, I learned coping skills and more about how to please, how to make her happy so that things wouldn't escalate into a fight or being beaten. So, but at the same time, those were kind of ingrained in me. So when I got married at age 18, really to escape that situation, I was back in the same situation. And the person that I married had those same traits. And with that, 15 years of just going through different abusive situations with him and not realizing that it was the same. And I used to say, you're a lot like my mom. And, and they didn't like each other, which not surprising. But going through all of that, it just never occurred to me that I took on that same role as I can help you. I can make it better. Let me do this. Let me make this better. That I tried to do with my mom, same thing I tried to do with now my ex-husband. But even throughout that journey of being with him and having two awesome kids, I knew we weren't going to last. And so I thought, well, what can I do? I'm 18, well, at this point, 20 something, but after having my two children, thinking, how would I support them? So I have to go back to school. I have to get an education. And so I went to college and got my math degree, became a math teacher. And the whole time, obviously, when I was going through all that, there was a lot of abusive situations because he wasn't happy that I was going to school. But I was like, no, I got to do this for me. There's got to be a way out. Never be stuck in your situation. And that's kind of what went through my head. I created this situation by marrying someone just like him. So I have to take ownership of that. But I also have to take ownership of how do I get out? What do I do for me to get out? And so I did that. And we stayed married for 15 years, and it was rocky on and off. And then we finally got divorced. And, during that time, I started to grow and kind of find myself a little bit, but still didn't realize my issues from childhood would still affect future relationships, because the next person a year or so later that I started seeing had a drug issue. So it's like drugs and alcohol and me trying to help you and make you better. And I stayed with that person for 5 years, hoping that I could make them better. And then when that ended, it was really about soul searching and saying, what's my part in my life? Why do I choose these people? And so I feel like, these circumstances in which we are born, these circumstances in which we live might be outside of our control a little bit at first, especially as a child. But as you grow and get older, your life is you and the choices you make. And you can evolve out of your circumstance. And no matter what they are, and we all make bad choices, we make good choices, and that's what life's about. But really finding who you are before you choose to maybe be in a relationship with someone, or finding out where it is that you came from so that you can better your life. But you have to take ownership of your life. That's the most important thing, the ownership. All the things, the good, the bad, the ugly, that's yours, no matter what. And sometimes I feel, particularly nowadays, people want to blame that there's an issue for this, there's an issue for that, because I came from this, I can't have that. There's opportunities, and we all have a different background. And some people have easier opportunities than others. And I think, depending on where it is that you've come from. However, there are choices, and each of the choices that you make can bring you eventually to where it is that you want to be, if you know where it is you want to be. So you have to do that soul searching. Who am I? Where am I? Where do I want to go? What do I want in life? What's my gift? Because we all have that gift. We all have that talent. And you have to find that first in order to create your journey and get over all of the circumstances, those circumstances that were maybe bad, and deal with them and say, okay, this is who I am. This is where I want to go. What's my next step? Have that big vision, but all those little steps, right? All those little steps is what we need to get where it is that we want to be, no matter where it is. And so I taught school as a way to, make sure I could support my children. And it was a great thing. And I love teaching high school math, did it for 18 years. And 2 years ago, I decided to take early retirement and follow my passion, which is yoga. So now I own a yoga studio. And in that space of just helping people through yoga, just through talking, is really supporting me on my journey of who it is I want to be. And I feel, for me, what I have found in my own discovery of myself is my job in this world that I'm in right now is to help other people find their passion, other people grow in what it is that they really want to do. And so just through conversations with people and saying, well, this is what you want to be, this is where you want to go, what do you think you can do to get there? And yoga, amazingly enough, has opened up so many doors for people. And they have found that just sitting in silence and just breathing has tuned them in even more to who they are. And so it's been quite the journey through my life of 48 years so far. But there's so much more for me. There's so much more for everybody. And all you have to do is just find your path, really tune into who you are, and those doors will open.